Guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking once again about Darklords. Darklords is a deck that is near and dear to my heart, and recently they had received a buff in Duel Links, and I actually played them, and I was like, oh, this is fun. So I decided to give them a try in Master Duel. And I think I went like 11-2 or something along those lines. I did pretty well climbing in Plat, so hey, pretty nice. And since it's the new season, this is the same players that are in Diamond, so, you know, but they weren't the greatest of players. But still, all things considered, this is the list that I decided to run. It's 43 cards. It's a little bit weird with its numbering, but that's because I couldn't really see myself cutting any of these cards in particular. Yeah, but let's just quickly do the card by card. First and foremost, it is branded Despia Darklords because that is just the way to play the deck now. It's just the only way that you can realistically win. Sure, you could play like regular branded Darklord stuff, but that's a little bit more low power. Doesn't really have enough oomph behind it, and you just kind of have to draw like super polymerization and hope. So I decided to play the branded stuff and actually, you know, have a chance. So there's that. But yeah, let's quickly do the card by card, starting with the Darklords. We have 2 Indulged because we don't actually want to see it all that often. It's a nice summon sometimes if your hands are particularly bricky or like particularly Darklord heavy, so it's not the greatest, but it's also not the worst. We have the one Ukobak as well for our target for the Indulged. We have the one Amdusk to potentially grab other cards and just kind of recycle things. And it's just another name. It's a good thing to summon off of either a Contact or a first Darklord. So there's that. Just overall pretty good. We have the one Superbia. Superbia is really, really good in this deck just due to the fact that you are more easily able to get out your first Darklord and then continually summon it back, or summon back Superbia to get its effect to just get enough link materials to go for something like an Apollosa and Condemned and stuff like that. Not the greatest though, but pretty decent. So we're just putting it at 1. We can also dump it off of Branded Fusion, so if I ever need to, we do have more access to it than not. We have one Tez to protect us, and then we have the triple Ixchel and one Morningstar. Morningstar comes up more so for its tribute summon effect than for its fusion, or I should say for the first Darklord's fusion effect with it. Honestly, Morningstar is a powerhouse and just helps close out games just like easily. If you have a Condemned or any access to a Condemned, you're very easily able to go into your Morningstar to just kind of clean up the field. So pretty nice. Then of course we have the pretty standard list, or pretty standard numbers for the spells. We have the triple banishment, double contact, and then we have one rebellion. That is the only trap that's worth playing in the meta, and it's just like the only trap that's even worth playing in Darklords in general, due to the fact that it is able to basically be a pop 2. Sure, negating monster effects is nice, but there's things like Runic, which is running around, so that's not really great. Stealing a monster is also nice, but again, it only steals for the turn, so it's not really that big of a deal. On top of the fact that, again, there are a lot of floodgates running around, or just like smaller monsters, right? So being able to steal them, not really that big of a deal. So yeah, this is just happens to be the best one. It's a little bit bricky, but it's so nice to have. So there you go. As for the rest of the cards, we are running, of course, the Despia stuff, Double Tragedy. I feel like having one isn't enough because we do want to we want to use its first effect in order to search out something like an Aluber or the Ad Libitum, but we also want to use its second effect to potentially set things like Theater, Branded Fusion, and the Branded in Red. So very nice to have 2 of it. It came up quite a few times that having multiple was nice. There's that. Then we have ourselves the Aluber, double Aluber, because it's limited to 2 at this point. Realistically, I would play 3, because honestly, it's like the best card in the deck. I would just cut one of the Indulged, I'd play 3, cool. However, limited, so there you go. Can't play 3. Anyway, next up we have the Ad Libitum. This is just a nice target to add back your Mirror Jade and other such targets. Then we have ourselves a whole bunch of the branded spell traps. We have the triple branded fusion, 1 theater, 1 branded loss. Branded loss is actually very good. It won me a game because of the fact that my opponent just couldn't respond to anything that I was doing, or more specifically the fusion that I was going for, which is very nice. We have the double branded opening and the 1 branded in red. Next up, we have ourselves the Alubers, or the Albaz, double Albaz, 1 Ecclesia as our only light target. Yeah, that's legitimately it. It's just the best light target. it. It adds itself back to hand, which is good for like discard, which quite a few of our cards actually do want to discard. It's also just like good to have in general. You can special summon it and then go into your Albaz, which is kind of threatening if it's like a simplified game state. So there's that. And then the rest of our cards are just power staples. Maxi, Ash Blossom, Harpies, Foolish Burial, Called By, Super Polymerization. Pretty standard there. As for the extra deck, we have one Mud Dragon, we have one Drextapelia. Mud Dragon never came up. I honestly don't even know if it's worth keeping this card. It's just not consistent enough. So, not really worth it. But I didn't really find the extra deck to be too tight, so I kept it in. We have the one Drextapelia, we have double Albion, we have one Q, we have double Masquerade, we have double Mirror Jade, one Lubellion, one Guardian Chimera, one First Darklord. This one I could see actually putting up to 2. You could cut the Mud Dragon, play the second one of this. It did come up once that having the second one would have been useful and would have actually done something for me, but all in all, not that big of a deal. One Condemned, one Apollosa, and one Underworld Goddess. That's the deck. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so I did mention the win rate that I had with this deck in Plat. So as you can see here, this one was Tri-Brigade Leaderless. I accidentally played the wrong deck. But from here up was all Darklords. And yeah, so pretty decent. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins and 2 losses. Pretty decent overall. Alright, so here we are going second with a lot of Darklords in our hand, which is not exactly something that we wanted to see, but we do have Maxi, so at the very least we could do something. My opponent is playing Runic, okay? Not a whole lot that we can do about that, but hopefully they don't have a whole lot of floodgates. And to be fair, this opponent actually wasn't, so I didn't really mind. They weren't really on a whole lot of floodgates. I think they had like 2 or 3, but we also drew Harpies, which is funny. Doesn't really do much here because Hugin exists, but hey, there's that. My opponent is going to go for the Runic Fountain here. They're going to go and activate Golden Droplet, which is going to banish our Morningstar. Well, that's nice. They also banished 2 of our Ash Blossoms, which is even worse for us, but we did draw into banishment, so hey, there's a potential that we could do something here. It's not like we're going to be able to wipe the field, but hey, at least there's something. They banished Tragedy, which is funny because that actually gets us the ability to search out the Aluber. So now we have access to our branded stuff. They're going to go for the Allure here and pass the turn. Fantastic. So, we are going to go and draw into Branded Fusion, which makes this a lot more interesting. I can actually go for the Theater here. We're going to go and activate our effect in order to go into the Theater. We're going to go for Theater into First Darklord. Now, I know what you're saying. Why did we not go Guardian Chimera or something like that to pop a card? First Darklord cannot be targeted. A lot of the Runic cards in particular do want to target. So this allows me access to basically the rest of my Darklord engine without really being interrupted, which is great. So yeah, we go for the first Darklord here. Next up, we are going to search out Rebellion. Rebellion is absolutely key here because just being able to pop 2 is really good. That means if my opponent goes like Protect, or like we go walk over the Hugin, activate like Feather Duster, they go Hugin, we can then go Rebellion, pop 1, and then they can't really do anything since it's a quick effect. If they were to like play a quick play spell, we can again chain the Rebellion to guarantee the pop on the Runic Fountain. So that's kind of the idea there. We're going to reborn our Amdusk here, which is then going to get us a search for the Contact, and then we are going to activate our Branded Fusion. We're going to fuse 2. I'm actually going to go for Albion here because I do want the Ecclesia in the grave. They're going to go for Freezing Curses. Kind of expected that one. They banished Branded in red. And the third Ash! Love to see it. They're going to shuffle 2 and draw 2. They banished our Contact. Good thing we had the other one. We're going to contact back the Indulged and proceed to battle. They're going to pop our our Albion. Not really that big of a deal because we can still walk it into the Hugin. Hugin's going to shuffle itself back. And at this point, I go for the Harpies Feather Duster. Turns out they have Called By, and they don't actually have a Runic quick play, which is very good for me. They're going to banish the Albion. Honestly, not really that big of a deal, because we still have all of our Darklord stuff, so that's pretty nice for me. We can go for the Rebellion. We can actually use it twice. They're going to go Dark Ruler. That doesn't really affect me in any way. Sure, that's fine. We still have our Rebellion set, so we should be fine. My opponent is going to go for Runic Tip to search out the fountain and banish our Foolish Burial. Well, that's nice. They're going to go Runic Fountain, and as I see the Flashing Fire come down, I go, that's fine. I'm going to actually tribute off my own monster since it's no longer protected. Sure, I could protect it with Tez, but in all honesty, I can also just bring it back with Contact, so there's no real point in doing that. We're going to pop the field spell, and they also don't get to banish anything, which is why I did it the way that I did. They're going to go Runic Slumber to special summon. I'm going to go Maxi. I'm also going to chain the Amdusk here to bring back the first Dark Lord, and at that they realize, oh, yeah, you got it. So, cool. Sometimes Feather Duster just works. Alright, this duel is entirely in here just so that we can make fun of my opponent here. Now, it's not too surprising given the fact that they are playing the objectively worst mate in the entire game, the Dark Magician mate. But you will see with the plays that they make how absurdly terrible this is. So they're going to go for Baelink's Chainlink to the Flame Buffalo. So I'm going to Ash the Flame Buffalo because that's a draw 2. We don't want that. They're going to activate Sanctuary and then link off into a second Baelink's. Great, fantastic. Sure. My turn. Draw into Eggshell. That's a pretty good draw. I'm going to then search up Superia because, of course, we already have the contact because my hand is just that good. Anyway, we're going to draw 2, and we draw Indulge, which is nice. And then out comes the Maxi. I kind of knew they had this, which is why we went for the Branded Fusion here. We're going to go for the Lubellion. Lubellion effect is going to activate, and a Tragedy's effect is also going to activate. Out comes Rivalry. Fantastic. So the only thing I can realistically go for, actually, the only thing I can go for is Albion. I literally can't go for anything else. We're going to go to battle. They're gonna boost, I guess, and I mean, it doesn't die. They gain some life points. Sure, I don't know why they're playing Raccoon, but sure. Anyway, Foxy is going to reveal Gazelle, because of course they did. You always hit Gazelle off of Foxy, it's just guaranteed. They're gonna go Splash Mage. At this point, the game should be over. Like, they just go access code, and the game is over. But just continue to watch, okay? Now, at this point, all that my opponent needs to do is go Splash Mage, bring back a monster, transcode, bring back Splash Mage, into, or actually no, they could go into the Update Jammer with the 2 instead of Splash Mage. The Splash Mage then is able to, or not the Splash Mage, the Splash Mage and the Update Jammer is then able to go into Access Code with double attack, pop the monster, and attack for well over lethal. Instead, what they decided to do is whatever this is. They're gonna lock down my field spell or my set card, and then they're gonna make Heat Soul, Sunlight Wolf with no arrows pointing anywhere because reasons. Okay, I draw for turn. We're gonna go Branded Opening. They ash this. I don't know why they're ashing this, but okay. Aluber comes down in FIP. Sure, whatever. Contact. Finally, they activate their own Heat Soul. They could have done this ages ago, but that's fine. We're going to go Superbia, bring back the Eggshell, and then we're going to link those off into Condemned. Condemned is going to pitch the Albaz and add the Eggshell so that we can draw 2 and hopefully draw into something useful. We draw into Branded in red, which is absolutely fantastic. We're then going to activate or bring back the Indulge, which can't actually give my opponent anything because they are also under Rivalry. So there's that. We are locked into Dark Fairies, but that's, or more specifically Fairies, but that's okay. We're going to use our Branded in red to grab back the Tragedy to go into first Dark Lord. Hope this is like the best thing that I can do under the Rivalry. So there's that. We're going to bring back Superbia. Superbia is also going to bring back our Aluber. And we're going to go to battle. They're going to protect with the Baelinks. That's fine. I basically am just trying to do what I can, right? Just trying to like get what I can off of the field and get what resources I can out of them. And then I'm going to keep the Condemned on the field. I could have gone into Apollosa there. I would have had a 3-mat Apo at 2,400, which honestly kind of doesn't do anything. My main concern is a 5,000 attack point access code. Like, if they have an access code, I just kind of lose. So I'm hoping this Maxi kind of does something here. So we're going to Maxi. They have cross out. Of course they do. Not anything I can do about that. Fine. Anyway, they're going to go for the Signet Mining. At this point, the game is over. They go for the big access code, and I lose the game. They attack over the Condemned. I don't have a whole lot of life points. Game is over. They're going to go Sunlight Wolf, add back Will. Sure. Okay, Will is the Salamangreat. They did this already. They're going to target Special Summon back 2. Sure, they go for 2 4s. That's fine. Add back the Ash. Okay. Spinny, yeah, okay, out comes, wait, well, hold on. Out comes Heatleo. Now, notably, Heatleo says you can target a face-up monster on the field and a monster in the graveyard. The attack of the first becomes equal to the attack of the second. But you can't target any of my monsters. So the best that they could do is make another one of their monsters slightly bigger at 23. okay, they do get to set back the Will of the Salamangreat. They're going to shuffle back their Almirage, or sorry, not their Almirage, their Mirage Stallion with Jack Jaguar. So, okay, there's that. They're going to bring back Foxy. Sure. Go into Mirage Stallion. Now, notably, Mirage Stallion also says, target a monster on the field, return it to the hand. So, again, my monsters can't be targeted. So there's that. They're also going to now immediately lock themselves out of going for access code by activating the effect of Mirage Stallion, locking them into fire effects only. Now they can summon other monsters, but they're locked into specifically only activating fire monster effects. So there's that. They could still go Baguska at this point. They go for Sunlight Wolf, I don't know. They're going to bounce back their monster. They're going to go for Balinx. Sure, yeah. Activate the Flame Buffalo. And Ash it. Dear Lanta, this is a nightmare. Battle phase, sure. They're also going to change their own monster's attack to 0 to gain 800 life points. That was a net gain of 800 life points. Okay. Alright, out comes Raccoon. Sure. Fantastic. I'm going to bring back my monster. Ixhel's effect is going to activate, and we're going to search out Morningstar. Now, what makes this really funny is what happens next. I draw Ash. Doesn't really matter. We're going to tribute someone for the Morningstar. Morningstar is going to go 1, 2, 3. Boom. Bang. Bop. Bada bop boom pow. And I mill literally no Darklords. Not a single one. Not a single Darklord card was hit, which means I gain 0 life points. If they have, like, anything, I die. Now, granted, I know what you're saying. Okay, sir, they were under rivalry. Of course they can't go into access code. Wrong. They can. Access code is still a Cyberse. Everything on this field is a Cyberse. Everything in their extra deck is a Cyberse besides Baguska. So, my mention about Baguska earlier, that doesn't count. They can't go into Baguska. I genuinely forgot about this because it literally doesn't affect them at all. Anyway, I'm going to go to battle, deal 4k. Fantastic. Going to go to battle, try for lethal. They're going to change their monster to 0 attack to gain life points, to not die. And then they die. This was mind-boggling. You could not have played this worse. And yet somehow I won. So it was very funny. That was all I wanted to show you, was that insane duel. Alright, and here we are going first. With both of my hand traps. I mean, that's not bad. We also drew Called By, so even if they had Ash, we're pretty good. I'm gonna go for the Indulged here, and just because I'm like, I don't know, there's a chance that I draw something really good. This feels like the best play starter. I could have just, like, searched out Superbia, activated Ixchel, hoped and prayed, and then I'm not locked into fairies, and I could have gone, like, for the branded stuff. But honestly, I'm like, okay, this is kind of an easier play starter. It's milling the deck a little bit more, getting, like, cards that I don't want to see out. I mean, we do have Ash, Maxi. Maybe it does something at the very least. But I am still going to draw 2 with Ixchel. And I am the greatest gamer of all time. Draw the Contact. You love to see it. Activate Superbia. Bring back the Ixchel. Whoo! Love it. Anyway, Ixchel is going to then search, and we're going to search out the Rebellion. Why? Because we drew into Super Polymerization as well, which means if my opponent activates anything, or even if they don't activate anything, we can actually just discard our card and go into the first Darklord. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to save it in case I need to, but yeah. My opponent activates the 1-for-1. I'm going to activate Maxi. Fantastic. Out comes Animador and Darkshore Shore. I'm going to say no to that. Just slap it. No. Anyway, out comes Oviraptor. They're going to search out the Miscellaneous Source. Now, we do have Called By, so I'm not really too worried about that, but Miscellaneous Source is a terrible designed card. Anyway, we're going to go for the Rebellion. They're going to go for the Misk. We're going to go for the Called By. And, yeah, at that point, the game should be over, right? Except then they link away on my monster, and I go, oh, wait, no. My Super Poly doesn't do anything. But we draw into Contact, which is very funny. Anyway, we're going to go for the Ixchel in order to pop their Alert, which is pretty nice, but now we see it's not the Fusion spell, which means that they probably still have the Fusion spell. And, okay, Trap Trick, not a lot I could have done about that. Anyway, we're going to bring back our Ukelback, just so that we can dump another card. Out comes Frenzy. Pretty standard. We're going to dump Amdusk because we do have the Contact, so I just want to be able to get another name into rotation other than the Ixchel. They're going to pay half their life points. They're going to go for Kentragina. I guess that matters, but it also doesn't because I have the Super Polymerization, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah, out comes Dragus Depelia. At this point, the game is over. But I'm going to make things interesting. So we're going to go for the Superbia here. We're going to bring back the Amdusk, and then we're going to pitch with the Condemned in order to go for Morningstar. Morningstar is then going to be Tribute Summoned using the Banish effect of Condemned to bring out another Yugioh. This should have been like anything else. I don't know what I was doing. I was just like, I don't know. I don't want to summon Tez. It should have just been Tez. Anyway, we're going to search out the Aluber because we ended up milling a Tragedy off of the Morningstar's effect. We're then going to go for Apollosa and proceed to battle. This is well over lethal, but yeah. Super Poly, go Burr. Alright, so we're back with the deck, and I mean, the deck works. It functions. It wins games, but most of the time, most of my wins were just branded stuff. Like, pretty standard branded, right? The branded in red to disrupt your opponent by either going for something like a Masquerade or a Guardian Chimera on the opponent's turn. Having the Mirror Jade to banish your opponent's cards, and just pretty standard stuff there. First Darklord came up occasionally, as you saw in that Runic game, but most of the time it was just a brickier, less consistent version of branded with a potentially higher ceiling thanks to the first Darklord and things like Morningstar and what have you. All things considered, though, it's not the end-all, be-all. If you want to win, though, if you want to play Darklords and win, this is the deck for you. However, if you wanted to play Darklords, this is not it. You barely play any of the Darklords cards. Basically, you're just using Yugioh as a draw engine to potentially draw into additional cards, and you're basically just going into first Darklord with things like the Theater or the Branded in red, which can give you some potential, but it's not crazy in any way, and you're missing a lot of oomph from like going second with less access to hand traps, less access to things like Forbidden Droplet and the like. So, you know, it's Darklords. Yeah, all things, you know, all things taken into consideration, all things considered. Dear Lanta, I need to stop saying that. Yeah, just it's still fun. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest, though, and I've noticed that a lot of it is pretty mid. Being able to use Superbia multiple times, though, after going for something like a first Darklord is very nice. That's like the only thing that I can say about this. Going into an unaffected or a non-targetable Apollosa is also really cool, and yeah, that's the deck. Anyway, I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.